Welcome to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Cara DeFalco.
And I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Favetta on our New Jersey weather forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Very good morning to you, Lisa Marie and Cara. Hope you're getting ready for the holidays. Getting ready for some snow, perhaps, because, looking outside, there's not a whole lot of cool weather around. It's been mild. It's been very mild, and it stays mild all throughout this weekend with the rain that's on the way coming in for tomorrow and then Sunday. It's going to feel a little bit cooler, clammy, if you will. But beyond that, it turns a little chilly next week. Still, the long-range pattern shows that we'll be above average, so no snow in sight. In fact, we look outside today to temperatures yet again warming into the upper 50s. Right around 60 degrees. We had some very cool weather yesterday, especially during the morning, but then it warmed up significantly up into the low 60s by the afternoon, and it feels quite warm all around. So some weather headlines for you on this Friday. We started off with temperatures that are very mild, and that will lead to a couple rounds of rain by tomorrow. It's going to be very quiet for most of next week and a dry, tranquil pattern coming up, but it does feel a little bit cooler. Speaking of how warm it's been all across the country, you've heard about these record highs. We've experienced spring-like temperatures yesterday. Well, this warming trend is a kind of an after effect that's been being picked up by all the weather sensors. And our Climate Central over in Princeton has shown that in Newark, over the last 40 years, about 3.5 degrees of warming has taken place. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of more of a milder trend over the last several decades, and even going forward, that trend just keeps on warming quite rapidly, in fact. Let's go to the 3-day forecast with plenty of wet weather on the way for tomorrow. We dry things out and cool it down back to average by Monday. 39 degrees as a high on Monday may come as a shock, but that's where we should be by the end of December. We'll tell you more about that coming up with another check of your weather forecast right here on NJ On Air in a few minutes.
Thank you so much, Mike. I did not mind the weather yesterday.
No, it's been really nice, but I know that Monday that's gonna hit like a ton of bricks.
Oh,
it will.
You just know. All right, Mike. Thanks again. We'll check in with you in a little bit. Well, on a much more serious note, schools nationwide are on high alert after a video on TikTok and Snapchat warns of, quote, nationwide school shootings today, December 17th, along with hashtags to go along with the date. Here in New Jersey, many communities and police departments have put out statements saying they are enhancing safety around schools. Governor Murphy tweeted, while there are no known specific threats against New Jersey schools, the safety of our children is our highest priority, and we will work closely with law enforcement to monitor the situation and remain prepared.
Very scary stuff.
So
we know
scary
so
for
many
parents.
teachers that got notified parents. Thank God for our officers.
Absolutely.
They're going to be there.
On top of it.
Yeah, but wow.
Yeah, kids, don't do all the things you see on TikTok.
No.
Don't do that.
No. I wonder how many parents kept their kids home today.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Can only imagine.
Yeah. Well, we just can't get a break from COVID. According to the CDC, the Omicron variant can make up about 13% of COVID-19 cases in New Jersey and New York. But the CDC says Omicron makes up only 3% of the cases nationwide. Interesting.
That is interesting. I think that's the same reason why we got hit so hard off the bat with this thing. We're just so on top of each other here. And, with something that can spread so quickly, and they're saying this one is particularly viral.
Yes.
That,
exactly.
I imagine, it's probably just going to go like wildfire.
Hey, we are the trendsetters here in the tri-state area.
Good, bad, or otherwise.
Yes, exactly. So this news prompted New York's Governor Kathy Hochul to enact another indoor mask mandate. Will New Jersey follow New York's lead? Governor Murphy, speaking at a recent COVID-19 briefing, says he has no plans right now for an indoor mask mandate. But he says vaccine passports and mask mandates remain an option as cases and hospitalizations of COVID-19 increase in the Garden State. Governor Murphy says he believes the federal government will change the definition of fully vaccinated to include boosters and third doses of the coronavirus vaccine. I don't know how that's going to fly with a lot of people.
Yeah, we've got people pushing against the first two already. So to tell them you need three. Although we'll see. At the moment, the last thing that I heard from Dr. Fauci, he said, listen, at the moment it's 2 shots or the 1 J&J, and we do consider you fully vaccinated. Of course, we recommend the booster, but We
Yeah.
haven't changed the definition yet.
Yeah, but we were saying off camera, some people really had bad side effects from, especially the second dose of the vaccine.
I was one of them. I was down for the count for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, so I don't know if people are going to be running in line to get that
To do it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So speaking of the vaccines, the CDC is recommending that Americans get the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines instead of the Johnson & Johnson shot. They're citing rare but serious blood clots that they say can happen as a result of getting the J&J shot. Until now, the U.S. has treated all 3 vaccines available as an equal choice. Oh boy.
Yeah, well, and that was the initial problem with the J&J. That's why they suspended it for some time, was it did have that clotting. I mean, it's one of those, unfortunately, you got to look at the numbers, and it's, how many people are dying of COVID, how many people are going to die from this rare blood clotting disease, which one's worth it. So, but
Exactly.
I had the Moderna one. Like I said, the second shot took me down for, about a week, but other than that, I haven't had any issues. So
I'm sure J&J stockholders did not like that
I'm sure
news.
they're thrilled. They're thrilled. Yeah, absolutely. All right, on to some more inspiring news. Major Melinda Moyer of the New Jersey National Guard was awarded the Army Nurse Corps Association Military Nursing Evidence-Based Practice Award. That is the longest name for an award ever. She led a partnership with Yale University to offer COVID antibody testing to any active duty service member at no cost to the New Jersey National Guard or the federal government. Moyer is the first Army National Guard soldier to receive this award. She is the Director of Clinical Programs at the Joint Surgeon's Office, Joint Force Headquarters Army, and the New Jersey Army National Guard's first nurse practitioner. We like to see women succeeding, doing well, and being honored for it. So that is certainly some good news.
Okay, before you start the next story, take a breath, because that was a lot of mouthfuls.
There was a lot of titles in there, but it was all good stuff. And this is good stuff too. A few weeks ago, we had a representative from Wreaths Across America on the show. They are currently making their way across our state, stopping in Elizabeth, Sayreville's War Memorial High School, the Vietnam Veterans Memorials in Homedale and Bordentown, all as part of the annual Wreath Escort to Arlington National Cemetery. Ceremonies were held at each stop honoring veterans and those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. They will arrive in Arlington by December 18th for National Wreaths Across America Day.
Lovely story. So Senate President Stephen Sweeney is running for governor.
Sounds about right.
The longtime South Jersey state senator told union leaders this week that he plans to run in 2025. Sweeney, one of the most powerful Democrats in our state, lost his re-election bid in November to a political newcomer, Republican Ed Durr. Laura Jones, host of New Jersey Politics, will tell you New Jersey politics is one of the most unpredictable and always full of surprises. I'm kind of surprised that he's running. I am. You're not.
No. There was no way he was going to let that election loss slide without coming back for something else.
Yeah, but what if he loses again?
Well, I mean, it is New Jersey politics, but it
don't
remains
know.
to be seen. But this kind of makes sense. So now with him running for governor, is it a surprise then that Governor Phil Murphy might be thinking about a run for president?
That does not surprise me.
That one definitely doesn't
No.
surprise me. So Murphy, who narrowly won re-election against Republican Jack Ciattarelli, recently had dinner with most of the respected and accomplished Democrat strategist, James Carville. He's the guy that got President Clinton elected, and he's probably one of the guys you talk to if you're considering a run for president. Can you imagine what they talked about at dinner? Oh, to be a fly on the wall for that one. I don't know how they, Murphy's, been our governor through the pandemic, but I don't know that he's done anything that's so outstanding that he could really lean on it for a presidential run.
And listen, he won this election razor thin margin, and nobody saw that coming.
No, yeah.
But for some reason, I can see that. He's a corporate guy.
It's the logical next step. I just
Yeah.
don't know that he's got enough oomph behind him to make it work.
Yeah,
We'll see.
We'll see.
Laura Jones is definitely going to keep us updated on all this stuff.
Definitely.
Coming up next, we're talking about the Devils season, plus why Peloton pulled a viral ad.
First, make sure to check out all the decorations on our set. They're provided by our friends at Just Jersey. Check them out at justjerseygoods.com.
And you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll keep you up to date on who's going to be on the show. Click follow at NJ Morning Show.
The American Lung Association invites you to join us outside in 2021 for our Fight for Air Climb events. Now more than ever, we need you in the fight for clean air and healthy lungs. Let's go outside and climb, because every step counts. Visit us at lung.org.
Watch OSDIA interviews live every Sunday night at 8 p.m. and celebrate the best of Italian American culture. Each week, we will feature an exclusive interview with a prominent Italian American from around the country. You can watch OSDIA interviews live on Optimum 61, Verizon 530, or stream live from anywhere on News12.plus. For more on Order Sons and Daughters of Italy in America, visit osaya.org and follow along on social media.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. Let's bring in meteorologist Mike Favetta, get a check of your Garden State weather forecast. I did not need a coat when I left the house today, and it is the middle of December.
It felt weird. It felt weird.
I was like, this is inappropriate.
I was over at Costco yesterday, and just to see everybody walking around, I was in shorts. You had people walking around with short sleeves. It felt weird. You're like, wait a minute, Christmas is 9 days away. What's going on?
Yeah. Mike, I have to tell you, I noticed I was at the dry cleaners, the cherry blossom tree outside the dry cleaners was in bloom. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mike said the trees were going to start to bloom again.
They are. And that was something I mentioned. If you're putting up your Christmas lights on the bushes, you may notice there are some buds there. Yeah. And yet here we are. I had to start taking my spring allergy medication again.
Oh no.
Wow.
Because it's that bad. I'm like, why am I sneezing like crazy? Oh yeah, it's been 60 the last few days. Trees think it's spring. So here we go. All over again. There's going to be another round of mild weather today. So if you like this mild trend, you're going to feel, well, right at home later on this afternoon with highs that climb into the 50s. There will be some clouds moving in by the end of the day, but still plenty of sunshine around this morning as we warm up through the 50s. We'll basically hold there right through the afternoon. Lacey Township down toward Atlantic City climbing into the upper 50s. Now, the holiday shopping forecast gets very interesting because there is a cool down on the way, and it comes with some rain. So any, say, big box items that need to stay dry, I'd get that today because it's going to be very wet tomorrow with some rain that moves in for tomorrow morning and again tomorrow evening. No matter your mall of choice, you anticipate a cooler feel by the end of the weekend. Sunday does turn drier, but you'll notice the cooler feel with temperatures only climbing into the mid 40s, even down toward Cherry Hill. So places in South Jersey get to see a little bit of that cooler trend as well. The weekend elsewhere across the state will feature a lot of rain tomorrow. And then we're back to dry weather by Sunday, and it's that dry trend that keeps plenty of clear weather going into the upcoming week, with Christmas week staying very tranquil. There's not a lot of storms on the board, and this is something that we like, especially with it being quite busy for travel, whether by air or train or car. You've got plenty of great weather to enjoy. It also is the case when the Cowboys take on the Giants over in MetLife. So we've got a 42-degree kickoff temperature, 41 degrees rather, with that 1 o'clock weather staying nice and clear. I know it's been a rough season for you Giants fans. It's been a rough season for the last 9 years. But beyond that, we'll see if maybe that little extra chill can freeze out the Cowboys. We'll see. But our forecast at least looks dry up until Sunday morning. Beyond tomorrow's rain, it clears out. And then we look forward to a nice dry period next week. We'll detail that coming up with the 7-day forecast. That is on the way in just a few minutes.
Kara, Mike, did you finish your Christmas shopping?
There's no Christmas shopping this year. Everyone's getting baked goods.
Okay, I like that.
Oh,
Mike, how about
wow.
you?
Yes, I finished like 2 weeks ago. I tried to get everything in
Oh, look
by
at
the middle
you.
of the month. Well, I was reminded constantly, did you get this? Did you get that? Did you get that? I need the card. Okay, so everything, tutto sistemato, as they say. Everything's in order 2 weeks before. So,
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the Amazon boxes. I didn't step foot into a mall.
Yeah, no, I think that I can't tell you how many people, like, you drive past through the neighborhood and like porches are just full of Amazon boxes. I don't know that anybody set foot into a mall this year.
No. But you know what? For all that talk about the supply chain shortages and staff shortages,
It all made it.
Yeah, no, there really hasn't been delays, thankfully. So thank you, Mike.
You bet.
The New Jersey Devils are currently on a 4-game losing streak, dropping their latest game last night to the Vegas Golden Knights 5-3. Joining us now to talk about the Devils' disappointing state of affairs is Anthony Paradiso of Jersey Sporting News. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. How's it going?
So happy to see your face. Anthony, the Devils had high hopes going into this season, but right now they're sitting in 7th place in the Metropolitan Division. What has gone wrong?
Yeah, for the Devils, we knew coming into the year that they had a very young team. It was going to be a bit of a struggle to put consistent efforts in, night out, and compete in the Metropolitan Division, which is considered one of the most difficult in hockey, and that's certainly the case this year. With the Devils, you wanted to see Jack Hughes take the next step. He suffered a dislocated shoulder at the beginning of the year and missed 17 games, so that set him back. Since then, he's really stepped it up. Last night he had 2 goals. It was a game where he took leadership and he was really involved. And they came back. They fought back. They were down 4-1 in the 3rd period, and they fought back and they made it a game. They would lose 5-3, but Jack Hughes is a player. Obviously everybody knows he's a focal point on this team, but if he continues putting efforts like that, that'll help the offense. And another story last night was going in, PK Subban and Jesper Bogquist were out due to COVID. Subban doesn't have it, it seems like, but he's out due to precautionary measures. So we'll continue to monitor that.
Can they turn it around, though? I mean, there's still a lot of hockey to play.
Yeah, they can. I think that they have a nucleus of players. They have, players like Dougie Hamilton, who came in this year, big signing in the offseason, who's going to really, he's revamped their power play. He's going to be a big part of their team going forward. And I think that if those players, Hamilton, Hughes, Nico Hischier, play up to their potential, I think they've got a shot.
So, Anthony, it's been a little bit of a rough season for like all of the area professional teams, but not every last one of them. The New York Red Bulls actually had a playoff berth this year. You've covered the team all season long. What's your thoughts on them?
Oh, the Red Bulls. Wow, that was a thrilling season. I was amazed that they were able to climb back into the playoffs from where they were in the middle of the year. It was in September that they were in 12th place. They were out of it, pretty much. And they were able to string together, many great performances down the road. In the last 6 games, they won 5 of them. I mean, they really put the pedal to the metal at the end of the season. And I think their manager deserves a lot of credit, their general manager, for bringing in the players that he did, like Patrick Klimala, the striker Fabio, and keeping Caden Clark, who had an injury in the middle of the season. But these players, really, and I have to mention Carlos Coronel, the goalkeeper, was phenomenal down at the end of the season. So my thoughts on them are, they just re-signed Coronel, and that's going to be a big piece of their team going forward. He was a huge leader on the team this year. So I think that they can do even better than they did last year.
Nice.
So the Garden State has been seeing some success on the college level, like with the Rutgers women's soccer team who reached the NCAA semifinals. Yes, Kara,
Yeah.
proud alum. Can you reflect on their historic season?
Yeah, the season for them, it was tremendous to see a team from New Jersey go all the way to basically the Final Four of women's soccer. They, you look at a player right there, Riley Tiernan, a freshman, came in and scored a lot of goals for them, was one of their top players. She was a Big Ten freshman of the year. You had Amira Ali, who is a 3-time All-American, which ties a record for the program. They had a lot of players who had tremendous seasons. And they were able to set records for wins during the regular season with 15. They went undefeated in the conference for the first time since 2005. It was really a special season, and then to see them sustain it, they came up a little bit short in the Big Ten tournament against Michigan. They lost 1-0 there. That was one title that they probably should have had. But look, the overall season was amazing.
Yeah.
Are most of the players coming back next season?
They're going to, Amir Ali, a lot of the key players are going to graduate. Frankie Tagliaferri, who was Big Ten midfielder of the year, is going to graduate.
Oh, wow.
So they have some key players moving on, but you still have a great coaching staff, first of all, who's been there for 8 seasons, goes back a long way with the program. You have Riley Tiernan, who's going to be coming back. So they're just going to need to do some work recruiting to build a team that's similar to last year, because they're moving on basically key players at every position. Gabby Provenzano at defense, she was Big Ten Defender of the Year. So, there's some work that needs to be done, but they have a lot of credibility going forward when it comes to recruiting.
Yeah, and you saw in that sizzle reel, the stands were packed.
The stands were, yeah. They weren't like that when I went there.
Yeah, I didn't think
people
so.
were not watching. I feel like in general, and Anthony, I'd love your thoughts on this. I mean, we've talked about the Red Bulls. We talked about women's Rutgers soccer. I feel like soccer's really starting to take hold in the U.S. in a way that it never has before. I mean, we all know the Europeans live and die by soccer games, but it looks like it's really starting to become popular here.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Just in the last 10 years, I would say, with the expansion of Major League Soccer, and on the women's side, the national team having great success over, 2 World Cups in 2015 and 2019. And that has really promoted the game here at home. Carly Lloyd, I didn't even know this before I researched it, but she went to Rutgers.
Yes.
Right. So, you have a lot of players from New Jersey, first of all, that are bringing soccer, a good name in this state. And I think going forward, you've got a bunch of professional teams. You've got both for the women's and the men's side, you have good prospects going forward there for the national team and club teams. So I think there's a lot of opportunities to see soccer in this state.
Yeah. Anthony Paradiso of Jersey Sporting News. Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Thank you. Take care,
Happy
guys.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
All right, coming up next, we're getting into the Christmas spirit. Plus, we'll tell you about a visitor coming out at Christmas. It is not Santa Claus. And you can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll keep you up to date on who's going to be on the show. Be sure to check us out at NJ Morning Show and click follow.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
It's me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
Swing the hip.
Oh boy, they weren't kidding.
You're looking for a gold crown?
Sure. So you say you're helping people through. How are you doing that?
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. Well, if you take a look at the night sky over the next few days, you may catch a Christmas surprise. Not Santa Claus, but the Christmas comet is expected to be visible. I think this stuff is so cool. Get this, it won't pass the Earth again for another 80,000 years. The coming nights will be the best chance to see Comet Leonard, which was discovered earlier this year. Your best chance to catch a glimpse is with a telescope, but if conditions are right, it may even be possible to see it with the naked eye. And I know meteorologist Mike Favetta is going to have all the details with our forecast for this. So let's bring him in because I need to know, are we going to be able to see this thing? Because 80,000 years is a long time to wait. We're not going to make it.
It is a long time. The good news is I think we have clear sky upcoming. That's step one. You need the clear sky because anytime there's clouds, you forget any chance of any sort of celestial event. However, we do get a lot of light pollution here in the city, and that's kind of exacerbated by everybody having their Christmas lights out. So tends to mute a lot of those very fine points. If you head north and west, say if you're traveling over the next week, going out upstate or west into Pennsylvania, you have a much better opportunity of seeing it, but essentially as far away from the city lights as possible to enjoy that. Our forecast looking really nice over the next few days. The mild weather comes to an end, but it'll start to feel more like Christmas weather-wise, around here at least. We've had like this tropical feeling the last few days. Yet here we are, just 4 days left until winter's official arrival. Somebody forgot to tell the calendar, because with our weather remaining rather warm, even through this upcoming weekend, there's a chill in the air, but it doesn't really get down to our average temperatures until Monday time frame. So basically right on time for winter's arrival. With the sunrises happening later and later, we're actually seeing the sunset occur later in the day as well. We actually had our earliest sunset at 4:28 about 2 weeks ago. So now we're starting to see that number creep back as we head later on into winter. And that's some good news because as the days get a little bit longer, we get a little more sun in here. We also see the temperatures drop on the 7-day. Check this out. Look at the forecast and how much cold weather comes back in for next week. Every morning, the lows will be down below the freezing mark going forward. So you can say goodbye to those 50s and 60s. In fact, we're in the 40s with rain as soon as tomorrow. Sunday brings back mostly clear sky, and with a little bit of sun, it'll feel quite pleasant, but much colder by Monday. 30s on tap with a real chilly feel going forward into Tuesday and Wednesday. I think that by the end of next week, come Christmas time, yes, it will stay rather cool, but dry. So not expecting any big storms, not expecting any travel impacts, and that's kind of good, especially if you're just traveling around and want to make things a little less hectic. Last thing you need to worry about is more stress from the weather. So we'll take it, especially with the dry weather going forward. So plenty of clear sky ahead. We'll get another check of that 7-day forecast. Lisa Marie and Kara, that's coming up in a few minutes.
Sounds good, Mike. Yeah, we'll absolutely take it. A few more days of this, it's not fine by me.
And it looks like Santa's going to have good weather.
Yes.
Good travel weather.
Very important.
Very important. Well, lucky for Santa Claus, he doesn't have to use gas for his sleigh.
Yeah, absolutely. Those reindeer are economical at this point. Yeah,
exactly. Well, drivers are not as lucky. They will be paying near an all-time high come Christmas. According to a recent report by Gas Buddy, Christmas Day prices are expected to be about $3.25 per gallon, 1 cent off the all-time high of $3.26 per gallon set in 2013. Gas prices in general remain relatively high, increasing 45% from 2020's $2.25 a gallon. That's something I normally don't pay attention of. My grandparents, like, when my grandfather would drive, like he would go to the cheapest gas station.
Yeah. Even my parents would. For me, I'm like, I need gas. I got to get from point A to point B. I got to fill up the car, and I have a little car. It's got like a 14-gallon tank. It still costs me like $40 to fill the thing up. I'm like, what is going on?
I tend to play. Did you watch the Seinfeld episode where they drove around on E to see how long they would last?
Oh yeah, I play that game. And my car has the little warning too, where it'll be like, you have 50 miles left. You have 35 miles left. And I'm like, I can make it home in 35 miles. No problem.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So not a safe game.
No,
to
it's
play.
not.
And sometimes I've lost the game.
You can't do that. You have a baby
now.
Well,
no, I would never do that with the baby now, but pre-baby, pre-COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see how far I could push this.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So most search Christmas cookies.
I love this. Yeah. So Google keeps track of sites, like what people are interested in around the holidays. So let's check out their most searched Christmas cookies by state. So in our area, it is, of course, Italian Christmas cookies, which I'm not sure. I was like, that's a wide range of things, but People in other states look for things like snowball cookies, ooey gooey Christmas cookies. I kind of enjoy like all of these search terms. This stuff is good for me. So New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Italian Christmas cookies. New York, anisette Christmas cookies. Of course, that makes sense. Italian Christmas cookies in Connecticut and Massachusetts. So I think all of those things kind of go together. Christmas cookie fudge out in the Midwest.
Yeah,
there.
I love that. Christmas cookie dip.
Yep.
Christmas cookie ice cream. Interesting.
Okay. Gluten-free Christmas cookies.
Which state is that? I don't see that.
Here's how my U.S. geography is about to fail. I'm like, Michigan's that's
Wisconsin's
Michigan next to it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah, that's so funny. Wow. So you mentioned earlier that everyone's getting baked goods. What are you baking?
I'm actually doing the anisette cookies. We do. We also do ricotta Christmas cookies. I like to include a classic chocolate chip. I think everybody should. It's kind of like a good basic cookie that everybody enjoys. And I'm trying to think what else. I happen to love gingerbread. I love gingerbread cookies, but I like my own recipe.
Well, of course.
Like a texture person, it has to have the right amount of spice, not too sweet, like chewy, not crispy.
Too bad you didn't get a head start, so we could have tasted.
I know. Well, yeah, we were supposed to have our party today. I might have brought something.
I'm so sad about that. So the holiday season is called the most wonderful time of the year, but it can also be the most stressful time of the year. Joining us now with some self-care tips to help you feel your best this holiday season is motivational speaker and author Lisa Bien. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, TGIF.
TGIF.
We're all so busy right now. Why is self-care so important?
Well, I think we hear the word self-care and we think it's optional, right? This is the busiest time of year for a lot of people, and it's important to take care of self, right? So we need to make sure that we carve out time every day just for us, right? Even if it's 10 minutes, if it's a walk, if it's a deep breath. Self-care is to take care of ourselves. And a lot of people really think that it's going to the spa and spending a lot of money. It's not that at all. It's about tending to your needs emotionally and physically and spiritually.
So Lisa, what are some of the things that people can do for themselves over the night? What are some small things? You said it takes 10 minutes. So what's something someone can do in 10 minutes to help relieve themselves a little bit of stress?
Well, we could do it now, right? In 10 minutes, we could take a deep meditation breath. I teach at Rowan University, and the students do that a lot. You could do a dump of gratitude, right? Write down everything that you're grateful for. Journaling makes us recognize what we're most grateful for.
Yeah. And how does self-care actually help us physically, emotionally, mentally?
Well, self-care slows us down, right? Especially during this time of year. What do we hear all the time, right? We hear, oh my God, I'm so stressed. So we need to really be very mindful and intentional about what it is we need for our well-being, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And it helps us get quiet with ourselves, really question what we're doing, what we're saying, what we're eating. Is this really what we want to do? Is this really what we want to eat? Is this really the best thing for us? So when we're taking care of ourselves, we're being extremely mindful of how we're living. Are we living in the moment? Are we living each day and being our very best self?
And so, Lisa, how people, I think especially this time of year, stress about money. What's something that people can do to kind of help themselves in that area?
I am so glad you asked that question, because I think a lot of people get stressed about money. What we need to do is really be mindful and remind ourselves that the holiday is not about money. It's about moments. It's about time together as a family. It is not about money. It is about taking what we have, our health, our friendship, our love, and celebrating that joy. And remember that that is really what life is about, and that the holidays should just be a bigger, bolder celebration of all that we have in our life.
Lisa, I love that. And I want to throw one more question at you before we go. I just happened to read this HuffPost article yesterday, and the author was talking about how, kind of at this point in the pandemic, that seems never ending. You know, she was like, I can't meditate it away anymore. I can't journal it away anymore. Do you have any recommendations for people who like, you know, we're trying our best. We're trying to do these things that are good for us. And at this point, they're just frustrating because it's not helping anymore, because it's just not going anywhere.
I absolutely have I have an idea and I have a thing. You know, we have to let it out, right? So when the pandemic first started, I was remaining very hopeful and optimistic, and I still am, but we're all human beings. We're living a very human experience. We've never been through this before. So let it out. Like, if you need to cry, cry. If you need to tell your friends you're sad, tell your friends you're sad. Be true to your emotions. And if you really need some extra help or support, reach out. There's trained professionals. There's folks out there. There's coaches. There's therapists. Be mindful of what you need. I think that's an excellent question. It's a great point, especially around the holidays, right? The holiday season is not so all happy and joy for everybody, because there's some folks that are sad and they miss their loved ones right now. Or, you know, maybe they've just had a relationship that ended and it's, you know, it's sad for them. You gotta let your feelings out, and you gotta be very mindful of when you need a little extra support.
Yeah. Lisa, you have a book out right now that talks about this very topic. Can you tell us about it?
I do. I have a book. It's called Life Happens, Bounce Back, and it is all about overcoming adversity. It's a hybrid of my. Oh, that's a different book. I have 3 books. I was going to say, wait, which book?
Busy lady.
Which book? I have 111 ways to bounce back. This is a journal approach, which I do every single day, and these are tips that I did every single day when I had a bounce back. About 15 years ago, I had a bounce back. I lost my job. I had a second divorce, not 1, but 2 divorces, and I declared personal bankruptcy all in 1 month. So Let me tell you, I know what it means to bounce back. Your eyes are like, oh my God, and she's still dancing.
You know what? No, I love this. And I'm so excited. I love that you said it's a journal, because I find journaling very helpful. So I'm always looking for like journal prompts, worksheets, things. Yeah. I love this stuff. So I'm all about it. And I love that it's 111 too.
Well, you know why it's 111, right? I'm very spiritual. Let's see if your house is right. It means you're headed in the right direction. Yeah, I'm all about 111. If I get a check, I want to make sure that the total can be 111. I'll make it happen any way I
can. Lisa, this was so much fun. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you guys, and it was a blast. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Take a look at the Christmas movies people are searching for. Home Alone is at the top spot, followed by Polar Express, Elf, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and A Christmas Story. We've talked about this before on the show. Favorite go-to Christmas movie is?
I love all of these, but just because it's not on there, I think the better question is Die Hard a Christmas movie? And I say yes.
Can I admit something right now?
You've never seen it.
No. I've never seen it, so I can't weigh in.
Where's Mike? Someone get me Mike.
No, if Mike will yell at me for this next thing. I've never seen The Godfather. What? It was boring to me.
Michael.
Right. I mean, I was going to be with you on the first one, but the second one's inexcusable.
No, I tried. And listen, my husband's going to kill me right now. He has a very deep connection to The Godfather. Actually, the second Godfather. I don't think you know this.
No.
You're very familiar with the movie, right?
Yes.
So you remember the scene when De Niro is on the front step and like he goes on a killing spree and then he goes and sits with his family on the stoop and he picks up his baby Michael. Baby Michael was my husband.
Oh my gosh. How have you not seen these movies?
Mike's face. So his aunt and uncle were helping the casting. So because a lot of the movie was filmed in Manhattan, Staten Island, actually. So a lot of his cousins are extras in all these scenes.
That's amazing.
And they needed a baby for the scene with Robert De Niro. So his aunt and uncle called my mother-in-law and said, can you and Joseph come on set tomorrow? He has the pay stub from Paramount Studios, Godfather 2. It was a 2-day shoot in April 1974.
Oh my God.
He made like $380. Yeah, he's gonna absolutely kill me. I hope he's not watching this right now.
We really just need to note that it's only on this show that we can get from Christmas movies to The Godfather.
So I've seen that scene. My mother actually has a still shot and blew it up to embarrass him even more because he hates this.
Because Italian mothers.
But it's the only like scene I've seen of the whole because it's boring to me. I don't know.
But
I
back
know.
to
I'm
my
sorry.
original question, Mike.
I haven't seen Die Hard either.
Die Hard, Christmas movie or not?
I haven't seen it. I couldn't tell you. Sorry.
High five, Mike. See, that's why me and Mike get along so well.
All
We're
right,
just
well,
behind the pop culture.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, well, we'll have to put it up onto social media and ask the good people of New Jersey.
Mike, what is your favorite Christmas movie?
So there are so many. I recently got into Italian films because that's like a thing over in Italy. They produce like
obviously
a new,
on the show. Yeah.
Well, I know, but they produce like a new film every year. And Christian De Sica, Vittorio De Sica, the Italian famous director's son, stars in a lot of these. He's a comedian, and there are some that you have to know the culture to kind of really, like laugh. And some of these are so funny because they just make a mockery of all of that culture that we even laugh about here as Italian Americans. So some of them are really, really funny. I like some of those, but like my favorite English movie, I would say Home Alone.
Yeah,
Home Alone. Home Alone's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I love the claymation Rudolph.
Oh yeah.
I love claymation Rudolph.
I would always be so happy when that would come on. Yeah.
All right, so really fast before we go to commercials, let's talk about Christmas music. Some of the most searched Christmas songs include "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas," "Oh Christmas Tree," "All I Want for Christmas Is You," "Feliz Navidad," and "White Christmas." I swear, if I hear "All I Want for Christmas Is You" one more time, I want her to re-record it. Just something.
Well, that new Elton John one is really good with the Ed Sheeran.
It's that song though?
Well, it's a Christmas song. I don't remember the name of it,
song.
but it's a new Christmas song. Elton John and Ed Sheeran to collaborate.
I haven't heard it. I'll have to look it up now.
Kelly Clarkson, she's my favorite singer of all time. She came out with her second Christmas album this year. You would actually love it. If you're a lyrics girl, you would love it.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. You got to check that out when Christmas comes around, and it's a mix of originals and classics. Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, Santa Baby, Last Christmas. She did like a whole like jazz take on that, which is really cool, and her voice is just so excellent.
Yeah, no, she is. She's an excellent singer. All right, we want to hear from you, so we'll put some polls up on Instagram, and we want to know your favorite Christmas movies and songs,
music, cookies, the whole
thing.
Yes. Next, we have a wine expert here to help us with wine pairings for Christmas. We always like that around here.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll keep you updated on who is going to be on the show and much more. Be sure to check us out and click follow.
The American Lung Association invites you to join us outside in 2021 for our Fight for Air Climb events. Now more than ever, we need you in the fight for clean air and healthy lungs. Let's go outside and climb, because every step counts. Visit us at lung.org.
Swing the hips.
Oh boy, they weren't kidding.
You're looking for a gold crown.
Sure. So you say you're helping people through. How are you doing that?
Welcome back. So the most important part of Christmas or Christmas Eve dinner may not be the food. It may just be the wine that you select. Joining us with some wine help for the holidays is wine entrepreneur Alexandra. I'm so sorry. I am going to not get your last name correct. Schreckengast?
Schreckengast. That was a
wow.
good job.
All right. And I haven't had any wine yet. Imagine that.
I tasted some this morning, just as I talked through today. I wanted to have some champagne. So
I don't blame you. Yeah, it's good. Hey, it's Friday and it's 5 o'clock somewhere. What should we know about picking the right wine for the holiday table?
Absolutely. So, you're dealing with family and friends are coming back together, obviously safely, but you're dealing with different taste preferences. So I always start off with champagne. The one I have here is a Brut, but my favorite is Laurent Perrier. They have a rosé here. I'll show you the bottle. And this is just a beautiful champagne. This works well across the board. You can have this at the beginning of your meal as guests start to arrive at your home, or you can just drink it throughout the entire meal and be very happy. This pairs, it's just got such wonderful acidity to it and balance. It's an elegant wine as well. It's just got floral notes and really some stone fruits. So it goes well with cheese and charcuterie. It goes with a variety of different fishes, oysters. So you can really enjoy this throughout. If you do want to have it with your main meal, it pairs beautifully with turkey, with chicken, a roasted chicken, and it's something that you can enjoy. So I always like to do the champagne. It's also a palate cleanser. So it's the way to go. It's the way to go when you start.
Alexandra, really fast, I just noticed that you have your champagne in a coupe glass, not in a flute. And I think I was watching a movie or a TV show, something that was the original way that champagne was intended to be served. Is that correct?
Yes. So this was the high society way. And if you think of Great Gatsby and when they were partying, they served it in a coupe glass. I enjoy this for the presentation. I think traditionally sommeliers love to swirl the glass. They want to get really the notes and the aromatics coming out of it. And you can't really swirl this elegantly without it sloshing all over the place. But I do love it from a presentation perspective. It's just really pretty. And I can set up, you can do a nice tower stack with it. So I always do it when I'm entertaining guests and friends to come over and have champagne. I do it so that they have that visual.
It looks like you have the perfect house for entertaining too. I can just tell.
Thank you.
Wine is just not for dinner. You can incorporate it into other holiday events like cookie decorating.
Yes, you certainly can. So I have a mix here that we'll talk through, but there's red wine. So basically gingerbread houses, cookies. If you're doing that with your kids and you want to have a nice bottle of wine with your spouse or your friends and they're over too with their children, you can enjoy a nice red. So you can do a Cabernet Sauvignon, a nice Napa Cab is beautiful. I chose this wine from Chile. It's a Carignan. And so this is just beautiful because it's got a lot of cherry notes, but it's got some leather to it. So it goes really well with the ginger snap taste. It goes well with the cookies, and it's just fun. And then going back to the champagne, you can always enjoy champagne while you're decorating cookies as well. So you can enjoy this rosé and the brut or the brut, or you can have another variation of champagne, and it would be perfect.
It makes the cookies taste better too, I'm sure.
And it's also fun. It's something, the parents are starting to decorate a little, but the kids get into it. And I know my children, I have 7-year-old twins, they take over and they're like, we want the candy a certain way. And I'm like, you do that. I'm going to enjoy the champagne and just watch.
Yeah, 7-year-old twins. That's why you enjoy the wine so much. Wow.
So Alexandra, I mean, we have a very Italian American vibe on this show. So I think a lot of us are going to be celebrating Christmas Eve, Feast of Seven Fish. What is do you have a wine that you recommend that really goes well with a seafood meal?
Yes. So I was getting into these two whites are my favorite and what I drink quite often. So Domaine La Roche, Saint Martin, it's a Chablis. This has steely minerality to it. It's also super acidic, but in a great way. It's not tart. So this would go really, really well with shrimp cocktail, with a variety of fishes. I've actually had trout 3 ways with this, and it's incredible. And it's readily available, and it's just beautiful. It's a Chablis, so it's the Chardonnay grape, and it's just got a lot of vibrancy to it. And then separately, the one that I would recommend for the Feast of Seven Fishes is a Sancerre. So Sancerre is a Sauvignon Blanc from France. This one in particular, it's got grapefruit notes. It's herbaceous too, so you can think like fennel, and it just pairs so well with the Feast of Seven dishes. And we did this last year, and everyone was happy. We had a ton of these bottles, and I'll show you a close-up of it. But I'm a huge fan of this brand. It's Jolivet Sancerre, and I think that you'll really enjoy it if you try it this year. You can find it at your local store. It's readily available.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Alexandra. This was so fun.
Thank you. I really enjoyed sharing wines with you this morning, and cheers to you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Salud.
Salud.
What's your go-to wine?
Okay, so we're not a champagne family when it comes to sparkling wines. We do. So my mother's family's from the region of Piemonte, which includes Asti. So we love Asti Spumante, which is a much more sweet sparkling wine. But we generally do that with desserts because of how sweet it is. Otherwise, we also tend to start our meals with a Prosecco.
Wow.
Which was something we picked up in Italy over the last few years.
Really?
Yeah, anytime we walked in somewhere when we were touring, they'd be like, here, have a glass of Prosecco. Sure.
Oh, gotta love Italy. Let's bring in meteorologist Mike Vivetta. Speaking of Italy and wine, Mike, what is your go-to?
The Franciacorta. It's like the creme de la creme of Prosecco. They sell it in the wine shops here. Franciacorta is a specific region of the Prosecco growing area. And if you really want to like break the bank for $20-$30, you can get the Millesimato, which is just a single year instead of a blend of all the years. So, yeah, I did a Prosecco tour like every weekend when I lived up in Milan. So
Wow.
it was, that was like my weekend thing. It was great. It was great, and learned a lot about it. So, trying to bring those customs and traditions back here for the holidays, and we're trying to bring some cold weather to make it feel more traditional for the holidays, because it's been a little warm here. If you remember thinking, oh, well, at least Thanksgiving was cold. Nope, definitely wasn't this year. It was very mild, if you remember. People just walking around in sweatshirts. And yet again, a few days before Christmas, we had those in the shorts and tank tops, at least with highs in the 60s the last few days. There will be a cold snap, and it comes in with some rain this weekend. The rain begins late tonight, lasts through tomorrow. It'll be much colder with temperatures in the 40s, and the sun returns on Sunday with that colder feel lingering. Now, going forward into the rest of next week, look at that high on Monday. I mean, talk about a drop. That will be a 30-degree drop from yesterday's high. So very chilly weather on Monday with those starting temperatures in the 20s. And we're back down to freezing territory through most of next week each morning. Highs climbing back up into the mid-40s only as we head into Christmas. But again, that's, typical wintertime chill going into not only the end of December, but the early part of January. And while we should be just roughly around the same temperature going into January, there are no big storms ahead, so a pretty dry period upcoming, and that will also take us into the next few weeks. Not anticipating any sort of like active weather pattern until at least the middle of January. So we have some time to enjoy the cold before it gets a little snowy around here, and I'm sure it will. Lisa Marie and Kara, hope you have a wonderful Christmas, and hope to see you next week.
You as well. You as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, next week we have our Best of 2021 show.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But in the meantime, we're checking out some decor.
Yes. The White House unveiled its holiday decorations this week. The theme selected by First Lady Jill Biden is, quote, gifts from the heart. The White House says they are showcasing things that unite and heal and bring us together. In each of the public rooms of the White House, there is an individual representation of the theme. The library room, with decorations of butterflies, reflects the gift of learning, while the Vermeil room notes the gift of visual arts, with Christmas wreaths made of paint-dipped paintbrushes and a tree of Pantone color sample ornaments. The White House remains closed to visitors due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but at least we have the pretty pictures and video.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. It really is very pretty. She did a great job. And then here in New Jersey, the governor's mansion in Princeton, Drumthwacket, is open for holiday tours. Here's a look with First Lady Tammy Murphy.
Welcome to Drumthwacket, the people's house. Come on in. Thank you so much for visiting Drumthwacket today. On behalf of the governor and myself, we hope that you and your family have a safe and healthy holiday season.
It looks beautiful as well. Yeah. So Drumthwacket is open Mondays for tours. You can check it out at drumthwacket.org for more information.
Have you actually been there?
I have not ever actually been there.
I have been there back when Corzine was governor for a holiday party. So I've seen decor like this live and in living color. It's stunning.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. It's one of those things I got to get to.
Yeah. So, Kara, before we wrap up, do you have anyone you'd like to shout out this week?
Yes, you know what? I want to shout out my friend Sarah over at Culinary Concepts Core right here in Fairfield, New Jersey. We actually just had our first cooking class back in person at the location last night. So we were really excited about that. And also I want to shout out Sweet Expressions by Jerry out in Denville. I'm going to be doing some cooking classes with them as well. So be sure to check them out.
Well, there's 3 businesses I want to shout out. First, Good Life Organic Kitchen in Red Bank. I had a delicious lunch with one of my best friends and our kids on Monday, and it was a really nice, cool spot. And Red Bank I love it down there.
Red Bank has some fabulous restaurants, yes.
Yeah, definitely. And there's someone I definitely want to shout out that you connected me to. Gabrielle Natoli of Gabagool Italian Eats. Of course, we're talking about someone with that business name on the show. She made this delicious strawberry and vanilla gluten-free, dairy-free cake for my family's big birthday weekend.
Aww.
And if I didn't spill the beans that this was a healthy cake, no one would have noticed the difference.
You know what? And so I know Gabby. We used to work at a restaurant together. She was our pastry chef. She does a phenomenal job. She herself is vegan, so she's always looking for ways to incorporate that and make it delicious. And I know her stuff to be phenomenal for sure.
Yeah, and I know that she's putting together holiday boxes, dairy-free, gluten-free pinoli cookies and things of that nature. So she has a customer for life now. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
And finally, we were supposed to have our morning show holiday party after we wrapped here today. But unfortunately, we had to play it safe, and we decided to, postpone it. Thank you, Omicron, as always. You're just the gift that keeps on giving, COVID-19.
Seriously.
Our party was supposed to be catered by Babbitt Sandwiches and Grill in Pine Brook. And one of the reasons why I'm so sad that our gathering is not happening is because the food is absolutely divine. I haven't had a breakfast sandwich in a real long time, but the calories were well worth it. Be sure to check them out if you are in the Morris County, Essex County area. I mean, look at that sandwich.
That looks incredible.
Spinach, egg, American cheese, avocado, homemade ketchup that he was resisting putting on, but I had to try it.
Yeah.
On Anthony and Sons bread, Anthony and Sons Bakery in Denville. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we might have to go. Maybe we take a road trip after the show.
Yeah.
Go for a little ride.
It was wonderful.
All right, guys, that does it for us this week. Thank you so much. We wish everybody a very Merry Christmas for those who are celebrating. Coming up next week, we are going to have our Best of the New Jersey Morning Show 2021 special that is going to air for Christmas Eve as well as New Year's Eve. So be sure to check it out. We talk about all of our highlights, all of our favorite moments from the last year, the first year of the New Jersey Morning Show.
Yeah, so exciting. And make sure to connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll keep you updated on who is going to be on the show and much more. Be sure to check us out and click follow.